week we are watching Hamnet, or we watched Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao.
The story doesn't really focus on William as much. It focused more on Agnes, aka Anne, and her experience with interacting with his family, and also the issues of motherhood when your significant other is detached from you. Which the thing is, she was also supportive of it because she was having visions. Like when they first met, she mentioned, "Oh, I see like these vistas, these landscapes, and then I see like you need to be more. You're trapped by your father and stuff like that." She was for it, but that initial like romantic feeling of them being in love just like fell by the wayside as he came more absent.
Him as an artist, William Shakespeare, is like very frustrated by the limitations of like what he can do in his community and that he wants more. And I think that it is kind of contrasted between him and Agnes's brother, who's played by Joe Alwyn, where he's like very satisfied, like doing the work that like men are supposed to do in this type of society. I guess it was like, oh God, mm, was it the 16th century, something like that? I
Yeah.
don't know. It was very interesting kind of seeing that dynamic and how like even though they are domestic, they have a maybe slightly more modern kinds of ways of looking at life a little bit and how they wanted to do things differently than like the rest of their family and the rest of their community. I thought that was really interesting because I think it kind of modernizes. I don't know. I think when you think of Shakespeare, you kind of just think of him in his life or in that time as very old.
Mm.
But I like that those themes of them being kind of unconventional people within their society, like, is very modern. Like they were very bohemian
Yeah.
for their time, which is pretty cool. And actually helps me relate to the characters more. Um, I will say that like her motherhood, like Agnes's motherhood, is put front and center, but I don't think that it like I think it was an interesting way of doing it where it's not like all she is a mom.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they were very intelligent about like how to kind of I guess crack open a woman in this time where it's like, yes, being a mother is a huge part of her life. And like she loves her kids very much. It's a huge part of who she is. But like it's also about her marriage and like her being a sexual person and her being like a person who is like very attuned to nature and in tune to like doing things in a very organic way. And so it's like I like that they showed like the multifaceted,
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
yeah, full picture of like who this one was.
Yeah.
Jessie Buckley, one of my favorite actresses ever. I think she is phenomenal in everything that she does. Honestly, I haven't seen her give a bad performance ever.
None. This is probably one of her best performances, I think,
And there's a
recently.
reason why she's getting so much attention right now, and fairly so, because I think she was amazing in this movie. But also so was the rest of the cast. Like Paul was amazing. Again, have not seen that man give a bad performance ever. But also like all the supporting cast, I thought was like really strong. Even Emily Watson,
Out of
like
nowhere, just
just being the queen that she is, like the I think her character for me was very interesting because she is like the stoic, like she's the mother-in-law, like she's like taking care of the kids, like she has a very level-headed and kind of grounded understanding of this world and like what a woman's position in this world is. And
traditional.
yet, yeah, very traditional woman. And yet, like as the story unfolds and like especially when the tragedy happens, like you see like the humanness of her and how
Yeah.
she's able to like give that piece of herself up at that moment when it is needed. Like she's not cold or a hard person. Like she understands the loss of a child because she has also dealt with it in her own life. So it's like I liked it because it's showing again how multidimensional women are, like you, and even I think sometimes we might have certain outlooks and stereotypes against certain women and compare women all the time, but I do feel like when you really look at them, when you really zoom in, like there is a lot of there, and often like what's bringing us together is the pain that we've shared just in our own experiences through generations, which is also what the movie I think kind of explores as well, as this kind of generational differences between family members and like people in society, especially women in society, between like Emily's character, Jesse's character, and like her kids, like especially the oldest and I guess the youngest daughter. So it's like it's interesting to see that dynamic kind of at play.
And the opposite end is was it John, the father?
Mm.
He's like, "Oh, I sent you to school for all this education, and all you do being there is a tutor." Like, just like demeaning the kid, but also they both have an air of we are a very bougie for a standard of living that they are not attaining to. Like, I'm this God fearing woman. Oh, you are these hot. My sons are all highly educated, and then William's like, "You's broke. You owe the people you're demeaning, the farmer. I'm tutoring his kids because you owe him money." And he slaps him like, "How dare you mention my feelings as a man?" And you picking up the slack. And then he's there also trying to force his kids to do manual labor, but what like knitting the gloves, I remember, and still having this air of him of I'm a man of means. All this is beneath me. A man must always work hard when it's clear that he wasn't doing the do. And then I mean not John, but Will, as every guy does once you kind of reach that pubescent age and your father is like, okay, I can punish you, kind of buck up and go, hey bruh, you old, you can't manhandle me no more, and puts the fear of God in John. you know um yeah, and it is a drastic contrast, both Agnes's parenting style and her womanhood with both those mothers and John's.
Jacoby Jupe, honestly, one of I think honestly maybe one of the best child performances I've seen in years. He was
Are you talking
excellent.
about Jacoby Noah playing him in the play, or the actual
No,
child? Yeah,
Noah is who plays Hamlet in the play,
yeah,
but
okay,
his
yeah,
younger brother is also in this movie and
yeah,
he is playing Hamlet.
yeah,
So the little blonde boy
yeah.
who is their child. Like his performance is like before even the death scene, I think all of his stuff was like so like tender and sweet and just so full of emotion. I don't even know how you get there when you're so young. Like I don't even know how like what are you even tapping into? But I think when the death scene does happen and the interaction that he has with his sister where he's like, I'll take it from you, like it's okay. That honestly almost broke me.
Yeah.
Like before Jessie comes in and does her thing and does the guttural like scream of like deep pain, but like before even that, like that scene with him and his sister, that honestly really almost got me. I was like, it's just so it's such like a child thing to do where you're just like, oh, it's okay. I'll just get sick and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like not even thinking about like what that would mean or like how that would like play out for the rest of your family. Just it was just like I don't know, just one of those moments and like I don't think you can even like recapture those moments. I wonder how it was on set when they were actually filming
Mm.
that entire sequence. I'm not really sure. I thought that was just played out beautifully. And Chloe Zhao is such an interesting director as well because I feel like the only thing I've seen it for, well, actually, I did see The Eternals, unfortunately, but in terms of like a good film, was Nomadland,
Yeah.
and that was very natural. Like it didn't like the scenery of like where they were at, kind of to me was more of like what captured my attention because it was just like shooting people in their natural environment versus like this where you have to make intentional choices about like how you want to frame up people, even though I'm sure she did in No Man Land as well, but like it felt much more intentional. It didn't feel like much more of a movie, not just like almost sort of documentary style like. So but I think her choices in terms of like how she shot it and like which moment she chose to linger on and stuff, like I thought that was really great. Like I feel like this was such a well directed film and as well as being a beautifully performed film. Jessie comes and like she's trying to save her child and like everyone's like he's gone girl, like and
Yeah.
that was, but it wasn't like the scream for me, it was the moment right after when she kind of like is still and it's like
That silent pain.
yeah, and it's also like registering the fact that he is gone and like there isn't anything you can do about it. And it's
Yeah.
almost like a sudden like understanding of death kind of thing. I don't know. It was very like whatever she was able to transmit on her face, like it was honestly amazing. Like I was just like, wow. Like the way that she was like screaming and then just like snapped into that like next position. I was like, oh my God. Like I don't even know how you do that, lady. Like you're Jessie, you're on another level, queen. And I was actually really pissed that Shakespeare like wasn't around really. Like I felt her anger towards him for not really being there.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, yeah, we needed you to be here though. Like your kids, even if we didn't know that Hamnet was about to die, like his sister was about to die before that. Like we needed you actually in this house. And she says that like it actually ends up breaking down their relationship because it's like you're out here trying to fulfill your dreams and like great, but you also have this whole family. Like you committed to this. You wanted to get married. Like you wanted to. Well, they got pregnant before she got married, but whatever. Like you seemed like you were committed to this, and like when we really needed you, you were not around.
Yeah. I love the part, where she's taught where before Shakespeare leaves for London, where he's talking with Hamnet. He's like, "Oh, I want to be a sword fighter," all that stuff. And then you juxtapose that with her watching the play. She sees that you have scenes of him on stage, as a child, and then calls back to that at the end of the movie where they actually play the play and stuff like that. Yeah, I like this was a really well directed, written movie full of callbacks and stuff from other stuff. She like Agnes even says, he'll be great, when she reads his future as well, that kind of thing. He's gonna flourish, he's gonna grow, then after, after seeing when they get together initially, she reads William's palm, she has all these visions of Vista and everything. Like that's all that's in his mind, his plays and stuff, his writing. And then, after, Hamlet dies, she reads his palm again. She's like, I can't see anything.
The choice to focus a movie in the story on Agnes and not on Shakespeare, because I think we talk about great men all the time, but we often don't talk about the women in their lives who help make them great. Like,
Yeah.
I think that, and it's not beating you over the head with it either. Like, that's just what the story is. And I feel like even it seems like everyone was really there to support Jessie, especially Paul. Like he's really good at like supporting the women who are like who he's playing with in terms of like acting. And I feel like that really came through here where you have like a woman directing it, women who are writing the screenplay, a woman who was starring in it. Like that really in a way that's not like knocking you over the head, like preaching down at you. I feel like it was a great way to just set up like, hey, let's not forget about like all of the women in the past. Cause sometimes oftentimes in history, like you're not getting those reports. Like you kind of have to just, you don't know what happens to any of these women, like who are just like there. They're just kind of like there. And it's like, okay, but we're not focusing on them because it's the men who are doing these great things. Yeah. And even the fact that Queen Elizabeth was like the patron of Shakespeare, like she is the reason, like she really elevated his work and like gave him a platform to continue writing. Like it is, I don't know, I love the female energy that is flowing through this whole story. It's just wonderful.
We're at the time of the year where award season, Oscars nominations came out a while ago, where everybody's trying to backtrack and oh, this movie wasn't good because they didn't see it or whatever. But this movie deserves all the accolades it's getting. Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast because the 16mm Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.